Welcome back to the fifth session of today's programming. This is Swarm's AI Career Triathlon, and it's a full day of programming dedicated to helping you manage and improve your career in the AI era. My name is Joaquin Melara. I'm the founder of the Swarm community, and with us today is Maestro Stevens. Maestro is such a cool name. It reminds me of the orchestrators of bands and symphonies. I don't know why that comes to mind every time I say your name, but you also produce music, I believe, as well, right? Or you have previously.
Yeah, back in my older days or younger days.
Okay, so with that, I'll give you the mic, and I'd love to hear a little bit about who you are and what you do. And Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you for having me. Thank you very much. My name is Maestro Stevens, as you already alluded to. No, I'm not we'll say a composer at the moment in time, but I am an instructor and educator, and that's also known across the world when it comes to the word maestro. I am grateful for being here, for being a part of this triathlon. And just a little bit about what I do. I've been in the business for over 10 plus years. I started my business doing more of a generalist marketing, branding. And then over time, I narrowed it down to really focus on systems building, which was pretty interesting. The last panel, Siobhan had actually mentioned systems thinking. And I was like, I'm glad she planted that seed already because that's kind of what we're going to talk about in this session here. And my company's called the Iconic Expressions, and that's short for TIE, or
and
TIE is short for Iconic Expressions.
and we're going to be discussing AI as AIR, and AIR is a proprietary framework that informs some of the processes that you deploy for your clients to develop these world class brand experiences. Right?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's
You've
going to
shown me a
be
lot of neat tricks, not tricks, but you've shown me very robust enterprise grade workflows. I mean, I've done market research and a lot of these manual processes that require a lot of clicking around for investigating competitors and understanding the landscape. I mean, you blew me out of the water with some of the stuff you've shared previously. So, um,
I appreciate that. Iron sharpened iron, as they say. So same with you. Everything when it comes to the events, I think that you are probably top five in my book right now. You stay on it. You stay on top, even when you have things that want to get in the way. You still stay on top of things. So I appreciate that.
Thank you, Maestro. Are you going to be sharing the desktop?
I can start right now. Let me start sharing, and then let me put the slides on. And now the slides are on. So let me know if it's good because I can't see you anymore.
Yes, sir. You have full visibility. I don't know if you want to do max screen.
Um, no, I don't because I'm going to be flipping back and forth too much, and so
Gotcha.
it's going
Okay.
it's going to be a little too hard to do that. Remember, I'm working with lesser of my materials today. Okay,
No,
usually I have a soundboard, I have a whole production suite ready to go, so I'm making the adjustment because for the internet problems that apparently in the last session people were having that too. So maybe it's just in the air. I think I
Europe,
in the air.
US,
Uh oh.
everywhere. No, you're fully visible, audible, presentations
Okay.
on screen. I'll let you know
Okay.
if there's any comments coming in.
Okay. Okay. Cool. I'll dive in. As Joaquin said, our presentation is called AI is Air. AIR is an acronym that we will get into here in a second. But something that I want you to know that this framework that I've created so happens to be what I'm calling an execution engine behind the value equation. And I'll share with you how that maps together here in a second. So just a little bit about me real quick, just to kind of double down on it. I'm a systems architect, the owner of Iconic Expressions, and I use strategic design to help build intelligent systems. I believe systems are designed before they're built. So you have to understand that anytime you think of creating a system, you have to design the different parts of that system. I've been in the game for 10 years now, 10 plus years to be 100% honest, dealing with business strategy, building digital systems, and developing websites. Also with branding as well, helping brands improve themselves either through a refresh or building out for the first time. In terms of my enjoyments, I love technology, as you all will see. I love cooking. Oh, I am a chef boyardee. I love reading books, as you can see behind you, but no, I have not read all the books behind me. I love doing business, traveling, fatherhood. I'm a proud parent of a beautiful baby girl. Exercising, playing my PS5 when I get some time, and public speaking, as I'm doing here right now. And as you can see below here, just some images of me in Taipei, Taiwan, and in Athens, Greece, presenting to an audience as well too. So I love education. Now let's get into some of the meat and potatoes. What is air? Well, one, it's the thing that we breathe, right? And if we don't have it, what happens? You already know. The word A, or the letter A in automation, stands for features and capabilities that do the work for you. So when we talk about automation, we're talking about features and capabilities that do the work for you. I in AIR stands for insights, and that is features and capabilities that help create understanding. And then R in AIR stands for results. That is features and capabilities that ship real deliverables. That's what I'm referring to when I mean results. So let me paint a little picture here. No, I do not eat this kind of food. When I say I cook, I don't be cooking this stuff right here, okay? But in terms of McDonald's, I believe this is something that we can all universally understand since they are everywhere in the world. They probably are in the Bermuda Triangle too, for all I know. But when it comes to McDonald's, for those of y'all who don't know, there's a movie called The Founder. And in that movie, Ray Kroc, who was the one of the founders of McDonald's, he noticed something in their system when he had walked into one of the stores. And he noticed that there was just too much manual things happening. So, what I saw and what a lot of other people witnessed too was Ray Kroc is one of the originators of automation. He saw that the fry station was way too far from the burger station and so forth and so on. So he adjusted things so that way it would be a smoother flow from start to finish. So that's why I tell people look at McDonald's and realize they were pre AI before we had AI. They were doing automation. Ray Kroc saw the insight. He made the adjustments, which gave him results. And that's why you are eating what you're eating today, anywhere across the world. Now, when it comes to the value equation, this is okay if this is the first time you're hearing it. Do not worry about it. I'm going to explain it to you, make it simple. Value equation is how do we create a formula for value? When we say our value, how do we create that formula? Well, there is a universal formula, and it is the dream outcome times perceived likelihood of achievement. And you divide that by time delay plus effort and sacrifice. So it's the dream outcome, what you want to do. Where do you want to end up? You want to be on the beach drinking that pina colada? Do you like pina coladas? What is the perceived likelihood of you being able to get to that beach and drink that pina colada? You know, it may take a little while. I'm a rum and coke guy myself, but some of y'all might like that. And then when it comes to the time delay, we want to slash the time it takes to get to that dream outcome, and we want to reduce the effort and the sacrifice. So when we talk about AIR, A for automation, the automation should be reducing time delay, effort, and sacrifice. If it's not, we need to, what does Mr. Wonderful say in Shark Tank? Take it to the barn, shoot it, because it's not doing us any favors. The I, right, stands for insights. Insights should increase the perceived likelihood of achievement. Whatever it is that you're doing, you need to have some insight in it. The last panel was talking about critical thinking, having the insights so you can see further. And then when it comes to R for results, this should increase the dream outcome, plus make the proof tangible. You should be able to hold it, see it, right? So the results increases the dream outcome to make it tangible, make it real. So that's why I say the AIR, right? The AIR framework sits right on top of the value equation. And I promise you, I had no idea till it was that eureka moment. I did not design AIR to do that. It just so happens to fit in. Such is life. Let's start off with our first demo because that's something that I noticed that a lot of people don't do in live streams is do live demos with AI because you just never know what you're going to get sometime, right? You can't really always tell the AI exactly what the output's going to be. So let's go to the next slide here. So what I've done to make it easy for all of us. And this doesn't matter if you're an entrepreneur or you're a business professional. This applies to everyone across the board, okay? So just keep that in mind. We're going to use this input, and this input is basically just telling the AI, right, to identify the tasks, the thing that I do and I repeat over and over and over again. It requires no judgment and can be handled by AI or automation. And I want it to categorize by function, such as communication, reporting, scheduling, research, data, and entry. So all I'm going to do is copy this. Same thing that you should be doing is creating a prompt and copying it. I'm going to put it here into ChatGPT. So for this demonstration, I'm going to use ChatGPT. You can use whatever you want to use. The AI tool does not matter in this framework, okay? And I'm going to let this go. But first, let me update this real quick and add one line. I'm going to say audit my business workflow right here. Now, here's a quick thing I want to show you. If the reason why I'm doing this, I don't have to tell it everything that I do, is because there's a feature called memory inside of a lot of these AI tools. So if you've been using ChatGPT, Claude, or Gemini, it should have memory, right? And that way you don't have to give it all the way the context. But if it did not have the memory and you're using it for the first time, you want to list out all those things you do. I'm going to use the instant model here in ChatGPT 5. I'm going to let it go. And this is another thing that I do appreciate about some specific models, when they can be really, really fast and accurate. It helps out a lot, okay? So we're going to let this do its thing here. Boom. And just while it's doing this thing, let me explain this too. If I click this configure button here, you see where it says auto switch to thinking. So that's why it's thinking right now, because if I did not have this on, it would just have immediately start going. So boom. Now we have our first automation output, right? The reason why I'm calling this automation is because, again, we typically would have to write our tasks down and then do it manually by hand. This thing did all the work for us in this situation, and it broke it down right here. Strategy, privacy, negotiation, communication workflows. Remember I said break it down to categories. What can be automated? Here are some of the tasks. I use ClickUp and HubSpot, so it knows things about me, again, because of the memory feature there, okay? And then so forth and so on. I'm not going to read through all this stuff because I just want to show this as a demonstration of how easy it can be. Sometimes we just overcomplicate things. So this is supposed to shrink time, delay, and effort, okay? So let's move to the second one. Insights. So in this particular prompt, I'm going to say map the findings to the value equation. What most increases value faster? It's a terrible way of using English, but thank God that these AI don't need all that detail to use English. All right, so I'm going to put this in here. I'm going to stay on instant. I'm going to do this as well too. I'm going to say, well, no, I'm going to let it just go, because I use the word map findings. I want to see, does it already know when I say map the findings? There we go. Boom, 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 boom. So here it's already mapping it to the value equation, right? And then if I really wanted to, I could say create a matrix. Now this is just a follow-up prompt, right? Just to give you all some hints. And it's still going, still going. Let's see, let's get down to the end here. Boom. All right, now let's say create a matrix. There you go. Look at how fast that is. So as I'm demonstrating this, this is also kind of showing you where we are now in terms of some of the AI models. Okay, so it made the matrix for me right here. We ain't talking Keanu Reeves when I say matrix, all right, y'all? So this is a situation where now you would take this, you would review it. I'm not going to review all this here because for the sake of time, but you would take this, review it, and then you would make some decisions, right? Okay, I have the insight here. What do I need to do next so I can get to the results? Okay, let's go to the next one. I'm going to take this prompt here, draft a modern looking and targeted focused offer statement. And let's see. And oops, sorry. All right. Take this. And I'm not going to say a sales deck. I'm going to say an interactive. Interactive active let's see app. I'll say app. All right, let that go. I should have turned on Canvas, but again, we'll see if it actually knows if it can do this on its own. So now it's writing code for this. right? And before, it would take a while to write this code. With Instant, it writes it pretty fast. In this situation, we just want to see what does it come up with, and then we can always reiterate later. But this is what I'm considering the result. So you see, I went from automating what are the tasks that can be automated, give me some insight on what I should prioritize. And now I want you to create a result, some kind of app or something that I can actually interact with, I can view, I can look at. So that's AIR right there in a nutshell, focusing on automating our day-to-day business processes and what we want to do. Hopefully it'll stop here, stop writing code, but we're going to see, let it go. Now, while I was doing that, Joaquin, do you have anything, any questions so far? Or anybody ask any questions so far?
No, sir, not yet.
Okay.
But I'm
And again,
I'm
this
stewing I'm stewing some questions right now.
okay, okay. Now here's the thing. This is why a lot of people don't do live demos because as you can see, it didn't give me what I needed. So I'm just gonna say, please fix this real quick because I'm not a coder. And for some of y'all, you need to hear that out loud. I'm not a coder. So I'm not going to go in here and manually change the code like a person who typically would be an engineer, software engineer, or a coder. Just because we all know tech or we've used tech doesn't mean we all have the same skill sets. So this is where I love to use AI to help fill in those gaps of where my skill sets are lacking, for a lack of a better term. So I'm going to let that cook real quick, and then we're just going to move on to the next demonstration, and then we'll come back to that one. So now let's talk about brand voice, right? And this is something that, as I mentioned before, we can apply this to a professional in the workforce. And you can also apply this to an entrepreneur, right? Or an entrepreneur when it comes to finding our brand voice, which would it also be tied to our brand identity or professional identity. So in this situation, I'm going to take this prompt here. Here are my LinkedIn data exports. Organize these by communication type and prepare them for brand voice analysis. So I'm going to copy this. Let's see if it fixes it real quick. Well, it's still fixing it. And I'm going to move over. I'm going to use a different tool to show you that you can use different tools for different things. Okay. In this situation, I am using Claude. Joaquin, can you still see my screen? Is it still showing? Just want to make sure as I flipped over to a different
Yes,
desktop.
yes, sir.
Okay.
It's visible.
Okay, cool. So what I've done is on the left side, I'm using Claude desktop app. And the reason why I'm using Claude desktop app is because when you use the desktop app, you can use the feature like Cowork or Claude Code. It can actually control your computer. It can do things literally on your computer and not just in the cloud. So let me paste this here. And on the right side, let me show you real quick why I did what I did. So I know some of y'all gonna be wondering, like, how do you do that? If you didn't know, what to say, if you don't know, now you know. That's a biggie line right there. When it comes to LinkedIn, a lot of people don't know you can export your data. I don't think there is a better way for a professional, specifically on LinkedIn, that wants to find their brand voice. Um, a better way, there's not a better way than exporting your data and having the AI synthesize it for you, and then you make decisions on that. So if you go to settings, data privacy, you can request your data from LinkedIn. It takes about 24 hours. They send you your data immediately, the basic stuff, and then 24 hours later, they send you your full download. So that's why I had to do it already because otherwise we'd be waiting forever, y'all, forever and a day. So let me let this go here. And we're going to see, we should see on the right side where I have all my LinkedIn data inside of a folder on my computer. Remember, this is on my computer. We should see the AI start to do some, I'll call it magic for right now, but it should start doing some organization after it synthesizes everything. It looks at what everything is, and it's going to give us some feedback. So while it's doing that, I'm gonna let it cook. That's how they say, let it. You gotta let it cook a little bit, a little marinate. I'm gonna let it do that and let's see did we fix anything here? Nope, we did not fix it. So interesting. Let me take this here. Error build. Okay. Please review and fix this carefully. Normally, I wouldn't be using the instant model for something like this. I'd be using the thinking model. But as I mentioned before, for the sake of time, I didn't want to for this thing to take too long to create something. Okay, so here the zip is already extracted. Let me explore its contents. This is something that sometimes you do have to wait. It typically takes a minute or two because it's reviewing everything, so that way it can make a better informed decision. Some people don't think that the AI actually has thinking or reasoning capabilities just because it's AI. And I tell people all the time, they're modeling a lot of these tools, these AI tools, after human brains. They are doing that. And so that's why they call it thinking or reasoning. And it's the same thing that we have to do when we are trying to analyze things. And that's the reason why I kind of don't want to always do too many live demonstrations for stuff like this because you just never know. Sometimes it does stuff like that in a heartbeat so fast. Sometimes it takes a little second to organize things. But here's a quick trick. Let me show you a quick trick while I'm doing this. While it's going, you can continue to talk to it. When you're in Claude Code or using the cowork feature, you can say, what are you? Sometimes I just say, like, what are you doing? Or why did you do this? Or what are you thinking? What are you doing in terms of organization? And I'll let that go, and then I'm gonna quickly go to the next one just so you all can see what the next prompts will be at least, and hopefully it'll start to do stuff. So in this situation, we want to get to the insights. So before the automation is letting it organize all the data. That's the automation. That's the A in air. This one is going to be analyze my communication patterns. What's my tone, my recurring themes? Where am I inconsistent? Or you can even add consistent. Do not think that these prompts are end all be all. I want you to add whatever flavor you want to add to it. So boom, uh, organize. And then I'm going to say here, I'm going to say organize the data in this folder and put in folders. Then I'm going to combine two things at the same time, just for the sake of time. I'm telling it to organize the data and then put in it. Right now, it just kind of told me, what it saw, what it likes. I actually wanted to take action and start putting things in the folder. That was what I was hoping it was going to do for you. And I'll go to the last one here. This last prompt would be create a one-page personal brand voice guide. So in the previous one for insights, we wanted it to give us some information, right? We wanted to get some synthesis. A was to organize. I was to get a synthesis. Now, R for results is create a one-page personal brand voice guide. That would be the result that we want, some kind of brand asset mockup here, okay? So I'm gonna take this, copy, put it in here. It's always when you're doing presentations that it doesn't. Usually, I have at least an hour to do this, so it's like I have more time. But it's always when you're doing presentations where it kind of wants to act up. But other than that, though, the main point that I want to make, and we'll see if we can get back to it in the end, is that you are able to look at it like this way. This is your stack, your AI stack in terms of air. Demo one, we said, what should I automate? When it came to economic clarity, the diagnostic tool, excuse me, it gave us economic clarity. The resulting artifact we want is some kind of operational map, which ChatGPT is for some reason, having a brain fart with. Demo two, how do I sound when it came to the AIR framework, right? We want to get brand clarity. That's the tool that we're kind of using. And then the result is a voice guide. So we went through demo one with air, demo two with air. Now, a lot of people get stuck at this point. And if you do get stuck, that's when you ask that question, what's the next step? What's the next move? So you can get personal clarity. And typically that's usually kind of doing a one-on-one session or having somebody help you walk you through how to make this make sense. And that's pretty much it. Key takeaways, AIR is a framework sequence and not a feature set. Okay, if you skip the steps, you might create confusion. Every AI output should become the next input for the next decision. So we're pushing in so we can get out, okay? And then last but not least, AI is an execution assistant, but you still own the judgment. And that is the presentation of AI is AIR. If you would like to do a one-on-one consultation, I've been doing a lot of those. Actually, I just finished sessions with Jess Joaquin, which is kind of interesting, and it was really, really good. But if yeah, any of the audience wants to sign up, I think Joaquin, you have the form or the thing in the chat, link in the chat.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna put it in the comments so people can see it if they're rewatching the recording,
Okay,
and then I also put it in the comment section of the session.
perfect, perfect. So yeah, that's it. I really wish this worked on time, but I can't blame the AI. Sometimes it does need to take a couple minutes in order to do its thing. But as you can see, it's working in the background. So hopefully everybody gets the point.
You make it look easy. I mean, you're saying, "Oh man, there's so many mishaps. How embarrassing!" But you're condensing the work, which would typically take 8 weeks in a 25-minute presentation, and that's non-trivial. I'm saying this as someone that's ran a couple of branding projects
Hmm.
from ideation and concept development and capturing the intent of a customer and their respective business or service,
Hmm.
um, and then going through the process of research, condensing that into synthesis, and then providing a couple of branch paths. Here's the different mood boards. Here's the different directions we could take creatively that will be functional for your business and commercial objectives. And then having that iteration back and forth with a customer, that is a very involved process. And you did this in 20 minutes. You did it in 20 minutes. That's not something to scoff at, you know?
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. No, it's not. I'll stop sharing my screen, but it's just one of those things where you have to be patient. Even though we're automating things, you still got to have patience, and you still have to have some discernment, and understanding. The AI is going to do what it wants to do. You can steer it, but it's still going to do what it wants to do. I just think that if you understand using automation to help you gain some insight, it's going to give you better result. That's the main. If you use automation to gain insight, you should get a better result, no matter what your path is or process is.
I would also like to underscore the importance of having domain expertise. These capabilities do not substitute someone who is inexperienced in a domain or doesn't have any procedural knowledge. You, for one, have been doing this for longer than 10 years for a variety of different clients in different industries. You've gone through all the different creative processes from creating a brand to mobilizing and implementing it in campaigns to generate real revenue for people. So that's the reason as well for you to just be able to pick up and go and fortify your own capabilities. Uh, I guess just the last question for me is, how did you stay on top of emerging trends? Why did you put such an emphasis in your own practice to ride this wave as a competitive advantage and differentiator?
So at least for me, I've been doing the AI part. I know I said I've been in business for a long time, but the AI part, I've been using AI for like 6 years now. So it was something that I believe I gravitated more because I understand management and managing people. And I think when we understand how to manage our own time, even if you're not in charge of other people, and you can manage other people, work with other people, you can understand how to manage a lot of these AI agents, for lack of a better term. I know we didn't get into that. I didn't want to get too deep, and to your point, that domain expertise makes a huge difference. So I'm glad you made that differentiation. In whatever you lack the expertise in, you can still use the AI to help you learn some. But when you know what you're talking about, and you have experience behind it, it just becomes that much stronger. So I just saw there was a gap. I see that there's a need, and I also see people using it. The kids are using AI. Older people, the elderly are using AI. So it's just about how you can apply it.
Another really big telling sign for me that you know when to deploy it when it's appropriate is that we've had these discussions before. When you get a sizable project, you still hire and train somebody to be, uh, tasked with the human judgment aspects of it. So, can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So to that point, going back to what I was saying before, when you are working with people, I think you're doubling down. We're doubling down these days. So some people are trying to replace, humans with AI, and some people are striving to empower humans with AI. Those are two different paths, and they have their pros and cons. But to your point, I am a fan of empowering people. If I'm working with somebody, I have a rule of thumb: I'm not hiring unless you know how to use AI, because you're not going to help us get to that finish line more effectively and efficiently, especially in this race that we're in, across the world, when it comes to just everybody's trying to be faster, better, make more money and things like that. So yeah, I think a huge thing is when I'm working with people, and I think I see a lot of other experts do the same way. They're looking for people that can adopt AI and use it in their vertical, like make it niche, as they say. And then whatever we can't figure out at that time, we can always find another tool, or find another process, or sometimes find another person that can fill that gap. So there's tools, there's processes, and there's people. I think you need all of them.
Thank you, Maestro. I appreciate the holistic perspective, and I appreciate the very finely tuned demonstration. It didn't work all out of the box, but like I said, this is not a trivial exercise. You make it
All right.
look easy. You say, "Oh no, it went wrong." No, you make it look really easy. Um,
And
and
normally I'll fix it myself. I mean, normally I'll go in and tweak it, to your point. But
mm,
when you're doing a presentation, you don't have time to be tweaking this and tweaking that. I just want to get the concept across to the audience, not to necessarily say you have to have the result live.
so with that, we're gonna take a brief intermission, and then we're gonna be back for the next one. Maestro, again, thank you very much for your time and expertise. We'll see you in the next panel discussion.
Thank you, Joaquin. Appreciate you.